He's back. Welcome back, everyone. It's Aladdin here with the Chase DA Sports Handicapping YouTube channel. I know it's been a long break, a long hiatus for me. Sorry about that. Just a lot has been going on in my life. Won't waste your time too much. Just going to jump straight into this. We're going to cover every fight on 310. Jumping right into it. Got my guy Kennedy. Used to be my guy. Kind of had a little bit of a fall off here. He's minus 650. Huge favorite on the card. He's versing Brzeski. Not the best fighter in my opinion. Seems like a layup fight for Kennedy. Kind of a bounce back fight. Also seems like Dana and the UFC just want to keep this guy around. He's huge. He has an 83-inch reach, as you can see right here. He's also I think 6'10". Yeah, 6'4". Super big guy. I think he should win this fight. The over-under is 1.5 rounds at minus 150. I'm going to go with the under on that. Probably just going to go with Kennedy by first-round knockout on this one. Brzeski, guy's not good at MMA. He lost to Boudet. That's all you need to know. Moving on. We have Clay Guida versus Chase Hooper. This is like the definition of the old being fed to the young. Hooper is minus 1,200, which is the biggest favorite on the card. Absolutely insane. Guida's scrappy. He's old but scrappy. Not sure how much this guy has left in the tank. He's 2-3 in his last 5. But he is durable, but it's like his weakness is high-level grapplers, and that's exactly what Chase Hooper is. So this is like his worst matchup. And it's like, how can you be betting on a guy who's 42 years old? He's 38-21. I mean, that's just insane to still be fighting like that. Hooper, he's super good. He's 7 inches taller, as you can see, 4-inch reach advantage. I'm going to say Hooper by first or second round submission, probably rear naked choke. Moving on. We have Chiesa versus Griffin here. Pretty much a pick'em. They have Chiesa at a plus 110 underdog. Chiesa is 3 years younger than him. He's 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He lost 3 in a row before his last fight, which was against Tony Ferguson. Complete layup fight. Maybe not a layup, but I mean, come on. Anyone can beat Tony Ferguson. A guy, you could find a drunk guy in a bar and he would do honestly decent against Tony. Maybe not beat him, but I mean, the guy's on a total downfall. Griffin, it's just guy's 20-10, 39 years old. Again, 3-2 in his last 5. Both these guys just are at a weird place in their career. Griffin has only been finished 1 time though. His last 5 fights have gone to decision. So I don't know. It should be. I think it's going to be a boring fight. Kind of an old head matchup. I'm going to go with Chiesa by probably decision. Maybe even a sneaky submission. I don't know. I would probably just stay away from this fight. Next fight is Joshua Van versus Cody Durden. This one should be a banger, I think. They have Van as a slight favorite at minus 150. I would agree with this, to be honest. He's 10 years younger. I feel like any time when a guy's at least 8 to 10 years younger, very hard to side against them. They're just going to be quicker. They're going to be faster. Maybe not smarter in the cage because they're obviously younger, especially when they're 23 years old. That's really young in MMA. But I do think that this guy will win. From what I've seen, he's only lost his 2 losses, 1 by loss of KO and 1 by loss of submission. I just feel like he's going to be faster to the punch, like I said. I think he could honestly just KO Durden. He's not the best fighter, in my opinion. He's just kind of a run-of-the-mill guy, decent grappling, decent striking, in my opinion. I think, in my opinion, Durden will need to catch him early on to win this fight. And also Durden's last 2 losses were by finish. So he could be on maybe getting chin, maybe just losing that edge. I guess you could say he's getting older. So I'm going to go with Joshua Van by knockout, probably by first or second round. Feature early prelim is kind of a weird thing to say. Now this is the battle of the old heads, truly. Weidman versus Anders. My notes, I have it as a pick'em right here. Basically the same record. almost the same age. They're pretty old. I mean, Weidman's 40, which is crazy. Does have a 3-inch reach advantage though. He's 2-3 in his last 5. Does have some decent like power, finishing power. I mean, out of his 16 wins, 6 are by KO, 1 by decision. So it's like could still have that power. That's the last thing to go. Maybe it's potentially his last fight. I don't know. It just seems like what is this guy fighting for? He's only fighting like once a year, and like that leg injury, like how is that still affecting him? I just feel like there's no way that guy is like 100% or anyone is 100% after that. Anders, again, a lot of these guys are 2-3 in their last 5. I guess that's why they're in the early prelims. Yeah, it's just weird. This guy, I think he's only been finished like twice out of his 8 losses, so he's pretty durable. He did get rocked by Jamie Pickett, though. That guy sucks at MMA. That's another guy who is very, very bad. Also, this guy lost to Eric Anders. He lost to Power Bar and Iron Turtle. Both those guys are pretty good. They're pretty serviceable. I know Power Bar did just get slept his last fight, took a power nap. But I'm gonna go with probably a small play on the under. Under 2.5 rounds is plus 210. I just feel like both these guys, they're old. Someone could get hit and they'll just go down. And then maybe I just feel like it's hard to bet on Weidman, so a small play on Anders. But I do like that under at the value. Gonna keep moving along here. Forgot that fight got canceled. Okay. Randy Brown versus Brian Battle, Pooh Bear. Another banger. This arguably could be one of the fights of the night. A lot of good fights on this card. They have Randy Brown at plus 195 and then Brian Battle at minus 230. Battle, he's 4-1 in his last 5. This guy is just really good in my opinion. Very good like confidence and demeanor when he's in the cage. Amazing striking. Good on the ground. All around just great fighter and just good personality too to keep around. Out of his 12 wins, 9 of them are by finish. This guy's really just looking for the finish at all points in the fight. I just think that he'll get a submission in this fight. It's just a weird feeling, probably like a rear naked choke, round 1 or round 2. Brown, he's not too bad. He also has 4-1 in his last 5. He lost to JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, by rear naked choke. I don't think it was his last fight, but it was a fight before that. This guy's pretty good, though. Very serviceable. Doesn't have the best gas tank I've noticed in his fight, so maybe like late in the rounds, he could just get like caught or like he'll get dragged down. So I think maybe like a late round 1 or round 2 submission for Battle could be the move here. Also, that Rude Boy, Randy Brown, does have some crazy good calf kicks. That's what I've noticed when I was watching his fights. But prediction is going to be Battle. I think he will be a good favorite to put in your parlay. Moving on, you got Evloev. This guy is kind of weird. I don't know. It's like I kind of like him, kind of don't. Minus 280 does seem a little steep for him. I mean, he's undefeated. His name ends with Ev, so he's like one of those guys. He's younger by 5 years. Also does have like a 1.5-inch reach advantage. He's just all around, just really, really good, especially just on the ground. Just seems like he's really proficient there. He's kind of just a decision fighter, though. Both of these guys are, so I don't want to hype this fight up too much, but it's probably going to be pretty boring. I saw the over 2.5 rounds. It's a 3-round fight. Is minus 380. I mean, that's just insane. That's like women's MMA odds right there. So I think I don't know. I want to take like a stab on the under 2.5. It's plus 320. But at the same time, you're just going to be sitting there, 2 guys either crotch sniffing each other or nothing much is happening. I just feel like Sterling, pretty good fighter. A lot of people hate on this guy. I guess for some good reasons, some not. Like I said, he's kind of getting old. He's 4-1 in his last 5. Did get slept by Sugar Show, but he's just gonna make this kind of a boring fight. I feel he's got some submissions. I don't think he's gonna be able to get Evloev in a position where you could submit him, but I think maybe he could just like hold him in the clinch possibly. But holding this guy down, I don't think he'll be able to do it. I think Sterling, he needed to probably just need to on the feet, standing. He has decent kicks, I think. So if he could just maybe just land just some good body shots, some good calf kicks, keep Evloev away, make sure he doesn't take him down, that could be a path to victory. So I do feel like Sterling could win this, maybe a round, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Evloev by decision. I'm going to go with like split decision probably. It could be a greasy, boring decision. Moving on. Got my guy Luque here. This guy is just like weird kind of downfall this guy has had because he's really good, I think. But he's just like has gotten gun shy in his last few fights. 19. So I noticed out of his 22 wins, 19 of them are by finish. So this guy really loves just like kill or be killed kind of. Especially in his last few fights, he's gotten kind of brutally finished in his last few. Like Buckley kind of slept him bad. Trying to think who else, but I feel like this could be a good bounce back spot for him. I also do believe he could KO this guy too. I think I saw like, what was it? So I said 19 of his wins were by finish. I think like 15 or like 12 were by knockout. So I think he still should have some heavy hands. Grimbo, again, kind of a boring kind of fighter, jack of all trades. He does have way less CTE though. So that could make him smarter. Luque is just like I said, getting old. Still 33, kind of young, but it's taken just a lot of damage. Like way more than anyone should at that age. So I'm probably going to go with, I do feel like there's value. He's plus 135 Luque. So I'm going to go with like Luque, small sprinkle on the money line. Could be a sucker bet, but I do believe he could win this fight. Over 2.5 is also minus 190. I do think it could go under. That could be a play. By the way, I'll be posting all these on Twitter if I do make anything official. Moving on to feature prelim. Now this is the battle of CTE right here. Dominic Reyes, he's minus 330, and he's fighting Anthony Smith. 38-20 is just diabolical for a record. That's just insane. Over 1.5 is minus 155. Kind of like the under here. I think this one's going to end early. More than likely, I'm going to predict Reyes by knockout, first round. I know he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. Wasn't that 4-fight losing streak? But I thought he looked amazing in his last fight. Granted, it was against Dustin Jacoby. I know the guy's not like a world beater or anything, but he smoked him in 2 minutes, looked really good. I also just think Smith is not really dangerous on the feet. Like, when is the last time? I can't remember the last time that guy's knocked someone out. He's usually getting guys in like guillotines, submissions, decisions, to stuff like that. Actually, I'll take the decision part back because what I did write down, this is wild. Out of his 38 wins, 35 are by finish, which is just insane. And I think I did notice most of them were by submission. But I just think the guy is just, he's not going to have much. And like the only way to get to Reyes, I feel like now, is to chin him. And I just can't see Smith doing that. So I'm going to go with Reyes first round knockout. Do like Reyes in a parlay piece too. That's another leg I like. Nate the Train versus Do Ho Choi. This fight's pretty interesting, I think. It's a pick'em fight, basically. They have Nate the Train minus 130. It's weird. Like, you always feel like these fights are going to end inside the distance, but they always go over. Like, they know that, too. They have over 2.5 plus 115. Like, they're wars. They're always wars, but it just seems like no one's going to get finished. But he's 4-1 in his last 5, Nate the Train. Got a great chin, great cardio. It just seems like when this guy gets hit, he does better. It's really weird. 2 of his last 3 losses are by knockout, though. So he could be getting like old. That chin could be getting tested a little bit. But I do feel like if he does get clipped early, it's either going to be lights out or he's just going to, like I said, wake up and go Nate the Train mode like he did against like Onama. It's going to be like insane fight of the year candidate. But I do think Do Ho Choi, he's 15-4. The guy's okay. 13 out of his 15 wins are by finish, which is pretty insane. 12 knockouts. So I have noticed a lot of them are early too. So that might be the recipe for a victory for Do Ho Choi. Early knockout, clip Nate to train, and just like heavy ground and pound. I'm going to go with Choi money line and this possible KO. Only thing I don't like is it's weird. So this guy fought in 2019 and then took like a 3 or 4 year like break. Not sure what that was about. Maybe like COVID or something like that. But he's won 1-3 in his last 5. He had a draw and then he won 1. So not the best record, but I do think he could win this fight early if he clips Nate the Train. And I just feel like a lot of the public will be on Nate the Train. So maybe try to look to fade the public in some instances. Moving on, though. Biggest clown show matchup ever. You got Bryce Mitchell, my boy Bryce Mitchell. Crone Gracie is just like, how is this guy even like a real UFC fighter? Like, look at this guy's face. Look at his eyes. I mean, like, it's just so crazy. His last performance, I was talking with one of my buddies. I consider one of the worst performances ever in UFC. The guy, like, just for 3 rounds, just scooted on his butt like a dog and completely showed no, like, the sense of, like, MMA. Like, you would think, like, this guy just got picked up off the street or, like, it was like a caveman that time. He looks like a caveman that time traveled and just got thrown in a cage and said, go fight. And it just, like, he's plus 525. I just feel like if you bet on this guy, you are literally burning money in front of your face. I just don't see how this guy could win. Seems like a free fight for Bryce Mitchell, which I love, especially since he got brutally knocked out. That was a year ago now, which is crazy. So I'm going to go with Mitchell by decision. But I also do think anytime when you get a massive favorite inside the distance, I think that's a good move. Like they have over 2.5 minus 225. I think look to get under on that. I think Mitchell could maybe lock up a submission. I know that's where Crone is quote-unquote dangerous, but this guy is literally just going to be a fish out of water. Like, I'm telling you, I don't even know why this fight was made. Moving on. This fight I actually really like. Cyril Gane versus Volkov. They have Gane at minus 380, and then Volkov at plus 300. I don't know. And one thing biggest thing I eyed is the over-under is 2.5. Over 2.5 rounds with a 3-round fight is minus 310. Really like the under on that. I mean, especially in a heavyweight fight. I know people are going to be like, oh, it's Gane. He's boring. So look he has 12 wins. 9 of them are by finish. The guy is a decent finisher. So I don't know where this whole narrative of like the guy is boring, especially in his last fight. He like looked amazing against Spivak. I really do think that he could just completely control this fight anywhere. I know Volkov, he's on a sneaky run. He's won 4 in a row, just beat Pavlovich. But I just don't think he's gotten really better anywhere. He's just been Volkov. And you could say the same against Gane too. What I've been seeing is this guy's just really been working on his grappling, especially since that Jones loss. So, and he's beaten him. I think he beat him in 2021 or 2020. So he's already beaten this guy. It was by decision. I think it was 50-45 or 49-46. So he might have like this edge to like prove that not only am I better than you, I want to finish you, especially since I already beat you by decision. So I think there's definitely a narrative for Gane to win this fight inside the distance. Also do like him as a parlay piece. Minus 380 is kind of ridiculous, but I think just the best bet is under 2.5. Crazy value on that. Okay. Feature fight. Co-main event. Shavkat minus 420. Man, this is just crazy. I don't know. I do think he's really good. All of his wins are by finish. But at the end of the day, it's like both him and Gary have fought basically the same people, the same level of competition. Shavkat's finished him. Gary's finished some, but mainly by decision. I just feel Gary, they've trained together too, so they might be like how can I explain, like kind of like Pavlovich and Volkov were, kind of just timid, maybe not totally willing to go in on every shot because they know a lot of their tricks and their moves. But I think Gary at plus 315 is a decent underdog. Again, he's undefeated too. 8 of his wins are by finish, so he's not like this like super snoozer guy. I just think the way he has to win this fight, though, is kind of being boring and kind of putting on a snooze fest. Because for 25 minutes, it would be one thing if it was 15 minutes, but to stay off the ground and get away from the takedowns is going to be honestly just like a mountain to climb for Gary. And if he could just keep it on the feet, keep it at range, I do think his striking's better. Maybe not his power, but I definitely think overall, just the way like he goes into the pocket, just attacks at range. Especially, I think his leg kicks are pretty solid too. I just think the main thing is this, whoever can keep this fight standing, and then whoever can keep this fight on the ground will win this fight. Shavkat does have a little bit of a reach advantage, so that might work in his favor. Last time he fought, though, was 12 months ago, so maybe the layoff might affect him. Gary seems like he's been pretty active. I'm going to go with over 3.5 rounds here. It's plus 110. I think that could be a move. Both these guys do seem fairly durable. And then I'm going to do a small sprinkle on Gary moneyline and then Gary by decision. Gary moneyline's plus 315, and by decision, I don't think the odds have been released, but I got to imagine it's going to be like plus 800 or something crazy. I'd love to see him finish him, but I just don't think he will. Last fight, Pantoja versus Asakura. They got Pantoja at minus 260. The over-under is 2.5 rounds at minus 135. Maybe like the under on this play, just because I just think both these guys just throw ridiculously hard for how small they are. Asakura, this guy, I've only watched a little bit of him. Not going to act like I'm like the craziest like expert on this guy. But he has 16 out of his 21 wins are by finish, 13 by knockout. One thing I mainly noticed when I was watching him is he loves to throw elbows, and he especially loves to throw knees up the middle. Like just he'll try to just get you in a clinch and just throw a big knee and then just back off. And he'll just keep doing this to wear you down. And I think the main thing for Pantoja to do is I just think this guy is arguably one of the best grapplers in the UFC. Maybe like him and Charles, they're just really, really good. Obviously like Islam too, but I consider him more of like a wrestler. But it's just weird because his last fight against Usyk kind of looked weird, like he should have been like dominating the fight. He looked a little stale at moments, but I did think he won that fight 3-2, stole it in the last round. I just think he's a better overall fighter. Asakura is kind of an unknown, like I said, but Pantoja, I gotta imagine he's been fighting better fighters in the UFC compared to one where Asakura is from. And yeah, I just think I'm gonna go with Pantoja by sub, probably like round 2 or round 3. If Asakura could keep it on the feet, which I think he will early, just because he'll be fresh, he might win the first round. But I'm going to go with Pantoja. This guy is just really good. Guy's on a tear. I think he's won like his last 7 fights in a row. Yeah, I'm going to go with Pantoja by sub. Really appreciate you guys sticking around. I know this was kind of like an put-together video. I did get some decent notes here. But going to try to make this an every week thing now, or at least as much as I can now with my job. But really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter. I believe I'm at Aladeen for all the plays and just reactions too. Going to maybe even try to make an Instagram or something for some videos and some plays on there too. But thank you, and have a great night.